All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm just waiting for everyone to be able to get on here, but I'm going to wait another probably 30 seconds and then we're going to get started. Okay, we're now at 10:02 my time. So we are going to get started and hopefully we'll have more join us as we go along. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Journey 2050 Virtual Teacher Workshop. We are so excited that you could join us for a brief session on this amazing school program today. We have a lot of great content to share with you over the next hour, but I'd like to kick off today's workshop with introductions and some housekeeping. So this workshop is being hosted via Zoom. So at the bottom of your screen, and you may have to hover over it, you'll notice a Q&A button, a raise hand, and a chat function. So today we're encouraging you to ask any questions in the Q&A, please, and send any other comments you have in the chat. As today's session is so jam-packed, we will be keeping everyone's mics off for the duration of the meeting. We will go through questions at the end of the session, and if we aren't able to answer all questions before time is up, we'll make sure we respond in a follow-up email. So let's try out the chat now. I encourage you to enter your name, if you're a teacher or a program partner, and where you're joining us from today in the chat. Maya will put an example in the chat for us, and there will be an opportunity to win a door prize later in the workshop for participating. We'll also be recording this session if you haven't noticed already. So if you want to watch it again, if you're missing part of this session, or maybe you have a colleague or who would be interested in learning more, but they couldn't make it today, no worries. We will send a recording link to attendees following the workshop. And now I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Chloe Sprecher, and I'm the Education Program Coordinator at Nutrient. I'm located out of Nutrient's Calgary, Alberta, Canada office, and would like to acknowledge that I'm also joining you today from Treaty 7 territory, the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani nations, the Tsuut'ina and Stoney Nakoda nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. My role at Nutrient is to lead program development and support the implementation of a suite of education programs, including Journey 2050. I am the overarching Canadian coordinator for the program and the liaison for our Canadian program partners. I'm also the teacher and partner liaison globally for any tech issues and guidance, and I've been with Nutrient for 5 years. So today we're going to learn the basics of Journey 2050. We'll be showing you how to download and play the game, how to use the lessons to teach students about sustainable agriculture and food security. And we'll also cover the program website, new updates launching later this fall and those that are coming soon. And then of course, we'll leave some time at the end for those questions that you may have about the program. So what is Journey 2050? Journey 2050 provides youth with a unique opportunity to address the global challenge of how will we sustainably feed nearly 10 billion people by the year 2050. Journey 2050 is a free program that is science and social based and developed to complement curriculum. Excuse me. It was developed with the help of teachers and industry experts. This program offers a virtual simulation that explores world food sustainability through a global lens. The students experience the lives of farm families in different countries. As the students interact with each family, they learn the role of best management practices in feeding the world, reducing environmental impacts, and in improving social performance through greater access to education, medical care, and community infrastructure. As the students play the game, they see that their decisions have a ripple effect and positive or negative consequences. Journey 2050 was written for teachers, no matter their background, ag or not, anywhere in the world. The goal is to engage students in answering that profound question of how to sustainably feed the world.
Hey, hello, everybody. My name is Tessa Matuzak. I am the program manager for National Agriculture in the Classroom and joined the team in March of 2019. So I'm participating today from my home here in the United States. I now reside in the sunny and very warm at the moment state of South Carolina. From our partnership between Nutrien and NACO, I have the honor of serving as the United States state contact for this program. So whether you're a teacher, industry partner, student, or parent interested in learning more, you can always reach out to me with any questions, concerns, just anything about Journey 2050 or Farmers 2050. I'm your person here in the US. So why would you consider using this program in your classroom? Why do you want to make it a part of your curriculum? How does it fit? As you can see from this slide, it's truly a cross-curricular program. The key topics meet educational standards in a variety of different subject areas, but specifically we see it used in science, social studies, career and tech education. Agriculture education is an easy win, and even family and consumer science has really become the more recent kind of choice for the program to be implemented, which is exciting. So it's a great way to see collaboration across the subject areas within your school. So you can team up with your partner, teachers on subjects, kind of bridge those gaps together in unison. The lessons focus on the 5E model, which stands for engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. And one of our exciting new updates we're going to talk about today on the website with some changes, we have a new ability to search how your standards align with the Journey 2050 program. So we will pop that link in the chat, but on the educator section of the website, you'll now see this current up-to-date searchable database, depending on a few different ways of how you'd like to search, but you can find how the program aligns to your local, state, or territory standards. Also on that same page now on the educators section, you'll find a framework that has been designed to really help teachers, parents, anybody interested in using the program, specifically see by what subject area the lessons would best fit your needs. So you can quickly grab which lessons may be applicable or easily implemented or kind of be that main interest to you if you don't think you have time to utilize the whole 7 hours of the program, all 7 lessons. So this slide is just a quick overview of what the program looks like design-wise. So there is always going to be a lesson plan provided. Within that is all the information you need to pick up the program and go, whether you have an ag background or not. A fun interest approach activity is embedded. You'll be provided a PowerPoint, a video. There is a game level for lesson 1 through 6. There are enriching activities as well as additional resources that are just there to kind of dig deeper into the key themes and topic in each lesson. Ideally, students will kind of walk through the lesson, have an understanding of those key topics and points before they get to the game level. That's kind of the flow of the program. But all materials, all levels of the game are accessible individually and can be picked and pulled as needed by the educators' desire. So nearly every person on this call today will probably be retired by the time we reach the year 2050, relying really on those decisions of the next generation. And so that's a key focus of this program, is helping the next generation, those students in our classrooms, understand why it's so important to look at our global community. By the year 2050, we're going to see that our food production is going to need to nearly double, if not more, to feed that growing population of nearly 10 billion people. So in doing that, it's going to put a lot of pressure on agriculturalists, on the crops that we're using, on the yield that we're receiving from those crops, utilization of our resources. We may have less of what we currently do. And there's some things we can't predict and can't control fully, like climate change and what that means, weather issues like damaging hail or drought, pests that can destroy crops. So there's all sorts of things we need to be aware of as we move forward as a global community. So this program really is to help bring those things to light so we can be moving forward positively and proactively. This slide, some of you on the call probably are familiar with. This is what we call the sustainability barrel. So this is how we remember sustainability and learn about sustainability through the program. So I'd like you to picture a sustainability barrel. And with that, we are looking at the barrel built up of three main pieces: our economic, social, and environmental factors. And these are essential to understanding the concept of sustainability. And on our journey to the year 2050 through this program, we'll be looking at these different elements individually, but also how they are important and collaborate together in moving forward. So thinking about all of these pieces together and why it matters to focus on encouraging all of these different factors to be looked at and really brought to awareness. When we think about being able to grow enough food for the world sustainably, we have to make sure our soil stays healthy, right? And that we have enough resources, enough water to grow that, to produce our food. But to do that, we also don't want to destroy our habitat, because that's essential to all living creatures. So in order to grow that food, we need to be aware of our resources. But while we're also growing, we want our farmer to be profitable so that they can too live a fruitful life and do things like invest in their community, have access to education and healthcare, and so on. So it's a constant balance of all these different essential pieces. And a community is really only successful as the least developed factor. So we're constantly trying to understand how to level the barrel pillars and utilize our choices to be positive and proactive and aware of all of these key things when we look at sustainability. So working through this program and in this game, the sustainability barrel serves as the score in the game, and students really get to see how their choices reflect sustainability and how well we're doing in that matter, because they'll see their barrel pillars fluctuate, going up and down depending on what their choice brings as an outcome. Fun fact, the highest point you can get on your sustainability score in the game is 1,000 points, which can be done. So I challenge you all today, when you go home, or go home, maybe you are home already, when you start to play this game, the Journey 2050 game, try to get to 1,000, let us know. If you got there, take a screenshot. So sustainability varies across the globe, and it's just a continuum of trying to improve.
Great. Thanks, Tessa. So as Tessa mentioned, there are 7 program levels to Journey 2050, plus a program summary. So core topics by level include level 1, which is our introduction, sustainable agriculture, food waste. Level 2, which is best management practices, soil health and nutrients. Level 3 is water and conservation. Level 4, economic influence and trading of goods. Level 5, geography and cultural influences. Level 6 is agricultural careers. Level 7, technology and innovative solution. And you'll also notice that the levels are color-coded to help explain the game connections. So levels 1 through 4, the blue is the virtual farm simulation. Level 5 is a knowledge and land use quiz. Level 6 is a career avatar. There's no game level for 7 yet, but there is an interactive activity for students instead. And then there's the program summary, which is the action icon on the screen, which is project-based learning focused. And we'll go over more details for that part of the program shortly. The program itself is available on journey2050.com to be played online, the App Store, Windows Store, and Google Play. All right, so let's take a quick look at what our Journey 2050 videos look like. We'll just watch the first 2 minutes, and as we watch, note that as we all work to feed a growing population, we need to do so in a way that is profitable, that supports a healthy quality of life, that protects our land, air, and water. And as the video plays, watch for the sustainability barrel and the factors that make it up.
What will our world be like in the year 2050? By 2050, the Earth will be crowded by 2 billion more people. They're all going to need water, homes, jobs, and medicines. But most importantly, how are they all going to be fed? This growing population will eat the equivalent to all of the food grown in the last 500 years put together. That's over 60% more than we grow today. 1 billion tons more cereal, and 50% more fresh water every year. This extra food has to be grown on less land, in a way that protects the environment and animals, while making sure there's enough food for generations to come. This is called sustainability, and it can only be achieved by improving its three interconnected elements: economy, society, and environment. Let me show you what we mean. Imagine a barrel with parts made equally from these three elements. Well, you can only fill this barrel until its lowest piece. So if the environment is the lowest piece of the barrel, it limits the sustainability. This piece must be improved to make the world's sustainability better. What does economic mean here? It's about earning money, creating jobs and incomes to support the national and local community. Then there are the social needs. People need things like food, education, and medical care to stay healthy. We also need infrastructure like roads to get the food from the farm to your plate. And finally, there are environmental needs. Soil quality needs to be maintained. Habitats need protection. Water must be conserved. And we need to protect our atmosphere by keeping our greenhouse gases to a minimum. Our world leaders committed to 17 global goals in the United Nations. Sustainable agriculture is key to creating a stronger 2050 for our.
All right. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay, so that was just a quick snippet of what the Journey 2050 videos look like, a little bit on the sustainability barrel. And now let's dive into level 2 at a high level. So level 2 is all about nutrients and plant health. Successful agriculture relies on healthy soil. This is a slide that combines a bunch of key messages that we share with the students, including an animated video, our 4R nutrient stewardship model, and where N, nitrogen, P, phosphorus, and K, potassium come from. We encourage the students to use best practices, but it is their choice in the end. Every student's game will be different based on the choices that they make. And you want to apply the nutrients where it is colorful. That's where the nutrients are needed on the field. If you start dumping nutrients in an area that is gray, eventually your soil health and money will drop. So as we talked about, levels 1 through 4 is the virtual farm simulation, where students learn about local crops and cultivation practices, conservation, and economics. They farm in Kenya, which is pictured, India, and in Canada as well. Here you can also see the sustainability barrel in action and showcasing an overall score for the player based on the decisions the player has made regarding social, economic, and environmental factors.
Okay, and then you approach level 5. And basically the theme in level 5 is understanding, digging deeper into the impact of population growth, having human impact looked at, and really understanding the world as a global community. In the game portion, it's an opportunity for students to test their knowledge in this fun kind of guessing game, and work through some fun different virtual activities to understand the impacts of our society on our planet in the past and in the present and the future. And so to really understand kind of what the world looks like and how it's changed. Then we move to level 6. This is a great lesson if you're looking for something to talk about careers, specifically careers in agriculture and sustainability is a focus here, but it really helps students understand the vast network that exists of career opportunities and how that can easily be associated with helping feed the world and a role in agriculture, whether they feel it's something they're looking at doing or not. It may be a neat exploration activity, because in this level of the game, they get to build a career avatar, which is a neat representation of themselves and what a career could look like for them. So this is a quick example of what the interest approach activity can look like for one of these lessons. Something fun, a way to get the conversation started, maybe even have some group work happen. So this is an activity to understand just how many careers, how many jobs, people it took to create a product, a food product, a commodity. So this example is cheese. And so this is a slide from the PowerPoint that you received with the lesson packages. So you would start the conversation with asking students, what is the primary ingredient of cheese? hopefully we hear milk. And then we proceed with, okay, well, where does the milk come from? What kind of farm did it come from? A dairy farm, right? And dairy animal produced the milk. And then how many people did it take for that basically farm to table process to happen? So for the milk to get from the farm to cheese on our table. So we can do group work individually together, but when you hit when you hit the space bar on this slide, you'll see that we see a food web of careers appear. So just a great way to see the differences and opportunities that exist to help feed the world, help just feed us locally, our families at home. So, okay, so we have that dairy. Oops, that's okay, Chloe. We have that dairy farmer that made the cheese, right? So there's a career to be a dairy farmer, be somebody that operates a dairy operation. But then there's things like an engineer, an insurance provider, jobs that might not be placed, in the field necessarily per se, but somebody that helps support that agriculturalist provide that food source for us. So maybe you love numbers, maybe you want to be an accountant, you want to work at a bank, you just know that. Well, you could be providing a loan or handling, the accounts for those agriculturalists in your town, globally, nationally, who knows? So lots of opportunities, a really fun way for students to understand different things that are out there. Next slide, Chloe, thanks. So this is a fun just representation again of kind of what the career avatar looks like in the game. This was my example I got from putting in a variety of different answers. And this is just based again on students' personal choices of likes and dislikes, hobbies, favorite subjects. When they input all of that at the end, they're kind of matched with a career that would hopefully fit with what they're interested in and gives them a profile to explore. So they find a real life person that has that job that then shares education needed, fun facts, how they help feed the world. And then moving to level 7. So this lesson is the newest added to the program. Again, there's no game level per se, but that's okay because there's some really neat activities and research components in here for the students to do some digging deeper on the topic of career and tech innovation. So this is new and exciting technology and innovations that are maybe already being implemented in the agriculture industry, but things that are still in R&D that are still, just visions that haven't been implemented yet. Fun things like autonomous robots, aerial crop imaging, livestock health monitors, cultured meats, even new seed varieties. So looking at all of these different technology and innovations, we have students really explore, dig deep, brainstorm, think, dream up things that could even be solutions to the answer of how do we sustainably feed the world. And we know that some of these things may work here in the US or specifically somewhere in Europe, but it might not work globally. So looking at those, those ideas and how will it really help solve, how can we make it be a universal solution? So we're going to look at a few of those fun things really quick with a piece of level 7's video.
Life on the farm 100 years ago looked vastly different compared to today, and it will continue to change to meet the needs of the world. Cutting-edge innovations in agriculture are being developed with a purpose to overcome the challenges we face in providing food, fuel, and fiber for a growing population. Some technologies are emerging, while others have been adopted globally. Here are a few examples. Have you seen any of these innovations in action? Autonomous robots. Agriculture requires a significant amount of manual labor. What do you think a robot could do? Autonomous pickers identify and pick ripe fruits and vegetables. Other specialized robots could also find and eliminate weeds and pests that damage crops. Agriculture sensors. When it comes to nutrient management, watering, pest management, and harvest, too early or too late doesn't cut it. When it's time to take action, high-tech sensors located in fields send alerts to farmers through an app on their phone. Aerial crop imaging. Aerial images taken with drones, satellites, and planes can help farmers map their fields and use the land to its greatest potential. Drones could perform crop monitoring, planting, and even spraying.
Okay, so that was just a preview of some of the neat topics and ideas and things that are happening in technology and innovation in the ag industry for students to explore. This is an example of an enriching activity. So these are optional activities at the end of each lesson for you just to continue on learning on those key themes. Something kind of fun just to have in hand, an activity that's focused on just engaging students deeper in the conversation. So this is kind of a fun get to know you bingo, icebreaker type activity, but it's all focused on technology and innovation, things that are currently being used every day in our lives here in your homes and schools, so on. But also in agriculture, things that are being utilized or hope to be. So it's neat to see that correlation of how, you know, we might wear a Fitbit around or have a health monitor tracker on our iPhone, but the dairy industry is using them for their animals, and what that means and how that technology has improved our agricultural industry markers. So lots of fun things and just neat ways to kind of explore those ideas deeper for students. And then we come to what is called our action piece of the program summary. So this is a way to just take kind of everything that the students have learned throughout the program and package it up into a final project. It is centered around project-based learning, as Chloe mentioned. So it's really giving the students an opportunity to develop an actionable, meaningful project to them that supports sustainable agriculture and hopefully see it implemented locally, maybe even in the state and beyond, as a solution to something that they see as an issue or a need that needs to be met. And a key focus there in that is also those 12, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, those 17 goals. Okay, so now we get to play level 1 if you have not yet played the Journey 2050 game piece. So Chloe is going to navigate through the game and I'm going to kind of explain what's going on. So we go to level 1, which is a demo level, and we land in Kenya. And remember, 1 through 4, we are farming. So we are in Kenya in the year 2021, and we're going to meet Shami, who is an agronomist. He and his family farm, and we're going to see what that looks like, what they grow, the choices they have, the issues they face. So Shami kind of helps us in level 1 with these arrows and tips and tricks and explaining things. There is a timer going, so we do have to be aware of that. These levels are timed. So he's going to tell us we need to start planting a crop. So we're going to go ahead and pick beans because that's what we have funds for. We're going to watch it start to grow. Notice your sustainability barrel down in the corner. That's your score. Remember, we're also trying to keep those pillars balanced. So we need to water our crop, right? So we need water for our crops to grow. You can overwater, underwater, have to take care of your resources. Our beans are growing. We will see that additional crops come up for option to plant. Now we get to harvest because we're ready. So our pillars are again going to fluctuate based on our choice that happened. We made the choice to harvest our field. An investment opportunity has popped up. So throughout the game and different levels, you'll have different choices you can make. So buying a retired neighbor's farmland, we're going to go ahead and do that. And that shows us the positives and negatives to that choice, that ripple effect our choice has. A lot of positives, so good thing to do. Now we're going to plant because we have a whole nother planting area, right? So we are going to do some maize and some beans. And we are going to watch those grow. As the levels progress, things get a little bit trickier. You have more to balance. Things happen like hailstorms, or you run out of water. You face obstacles. Students have to make choices. It's not always about buying, the cheapest crop to try to make the most, or as you see, when you can use soil applications with the nutrients, you can choose different levels of that. So sometimes adding the most expensive is beneficial, sometimes it's not. It's all about these options for students really get to see, those life lessons learned of what's important and valued when we look at sustainability. So Chloe managed a score of 20, which is great. And we're going to run through it. We'll talk about your ripple effect that's happening from your choices, showing us kind of where we're lacking. Also, if you look at the barrel, so we have an opportunity now to make an investment. That is our highest pillar already on the barrel. So it's not really going to help us raise the lowest limiting factor, but it's also not a negative thing to do. So Chloe's going to go ahead and do it. And that will wrap up level 1. So I hope you enjoyed seeing what the game looks like a little bit.
Sorry about that. I just exited quickly, so just let me get back in there. All right. Oh no. There we go. Rural internet is not the best. That is for sure. All right. And we're moving into the website overview anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the website. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So just give me 1 second here. We'll move back into that. Excellent. Okay. Thank you for your patience there. So the Journey 2050 website, the entire program is available by going to journey2050.com. Note that the game and the website only work in Google Chrome, Firefox, and Safari browsers. Old browsers like Internet Explorer 8 do not work. And if you have not visited the website in a while, you'll notice that it looks quite different. And this is one of the program updates that I'm really excited to share with you. So on the homepage here, you'll notice that the updated banners give a high-level, easily understandable overview of the program. And the last banner here is quick access to playing the game, which may be useful for your students. The sign in or registration is also easily accessible from the homepage here. Another main feature you'll notice is that the site is segmented by user as well. So whether you're an educator or a student accessing the program to easily get you where you need to go. So whether you choose the buttons here or navigate from the top, you'll be able to go to the same location. So that's no problem. First, we're going to explore as an educator. So on the educators page here, you'll notice again, you can sign in or register from the game, a more detailed explanation of what Journey 2050 is and the different program options that are available for the program as well, with a brief explanation of each. Here is where you can also access the educator framework to help build your curriculum based on the subject that you teach or by key topic. And below the framework is where our new curriculum matrix lives. So this matrix is powered by Edgate, and the curriculum connections are automatically updated to ensure that your connections are never out of date. You can search here by standard or by Journey 2050 content to find the curriculum connections for your state or province. If we go up to the top navigation bar, you'll also notice a using Journey 2050 remotely section. This section was created in response to COVID-19 and is dedicated to remote learning and assisting teachers to make the process as streamlined as possible. We know it's not easy. Tessa will go over this section at a high level shortly. And then finally, up here, you will see testimonials. So these are real testimonials that were submitted to the program. And you can also submit a testimonial to us using this page if you would like. So if we jump over to the students section here, you'll notice that there is a couple options here as well. It doesn't matter which option you choose because it really just toggles you to one of these different tabs. So I chose online lessons. So we're starting right at the online lessons. Students do not need to register for the program, only educators do. They can simply play the game. To access the game from this page, students can select whichever level they wish to play that day and simply hit play the game. If the students are working remotely or individually, they can also access the handouts, videos, and PowerPoints for the respective level here as well. Looking across our top navigation here, we also have some new areas. So one I'd like to point out to you is our news section, where you'll find the latest Journey 2050 news and program updates moving forward. So right now you'll see our first article outlining our new web updates there. We've also updated our Aggie resources section to include more resources, including virtual field trips, agricultural facts, and agricultural lessons that can be utilized by both students and teachers to learn more about agriculture. So that's just a super quick overview. So for new educators, your first step is to register online. That's what you would like to do as soon as you're ready to go. Teachers must register and sign in to access the program curriculum through the online option or book a field trip or guest speaker. Please note that in-person program opportunities may be limited in your area due to COVID-19. So if it's offered in your area, virtual delivery options will be available for both the field trip or guest speaker presentations if in-person programming is not available, or if you prefer virtual instead. So after logging in, you'll be taken to a main page that'll show your teacher code at the top with some program information and 3 tabs, one for each of the various program options, as you can see on the image on my screen. So let's start with the online experience, which is the one that we have highlighted. As you can see, everything is provided. You have your lesson plan, PowerPoint, video, game, enriching activities. You also have the ability to download the game directly onto your school computers if you need, using that download the game option. This is great if you don't have reliable internet connection at your school. And currently, the program curriculum for Journey 2050 is housed under the Online Experience tab under Begin Program and Step-by-Step Guide. If you wish to book a field trip or a guest speaker presentation, you would navigate to the appropriate tab for information and the respective booking portal for the experience that you're looking for. So the field trip, as a high-level overview, is for teachers and students in Calgary, Alberta, Canada to experience the Journey 2050 program through a field trip, a hands-on field trip at the Nutrien Western Event Center located at Stampede Park. This experience typically can accommodate up to 2 classrooms or 70 students per day. The guest speaker option, this opportunity is for teachers to request an ag expert to come into the classroom for 2 hours to get the class started with the program. Guest speakers are available across North America, but location and availability varies by region. If a guest speaker is available but does not have capacity to complete a full guest speaker presentation, they're always happy to visit with teachers on how to utilize the online experience. And furthermore, one-on-one support is available for any teacher anywhere in the world by contacting us at journey2050@nutrien.com. So the portion of the website after teachers log in to access that program option and curriculum is also being revised to be more straightforward and align with the visuals that you've seen on the website prior to logging in. Teachers will still log in to access program curriculum, and the program options and information will still be the same, but the aim is simply to streamline this information for educators. The biggest change to note is that lessons will be called program lessons instead of step-by-step guide. These changes will not impact your experience as an educator or for your students if they're partway through the program once these changes go live, so not to worry. You can simply keep an eye out for these changes in the next few weeks.
Yes, lots of fun updates coming. So as Chloe mentioned and briefly kind of popped on the website, there is a using Journey 2050 remotely portion of the website that when we all kind of transitioned to kind of having to work and learn in place where we were last year, that we put some additional resources together just to help teachers, parents, and students navigate things on the website and through the program. Helpful fact sheets, tips and tricks kind of sheets and guides and helpful links. These resources will be continually updated and revised as needed or added through the ever-changing world of education. So definitely, if you have any questions and aren't sure about where to go or how to do something, that's a great place to start to look for a guide. In addition to those kind of new resources added due to COVID-19 last year, with the help of the wonderful team at the National Center for Ag Literacy out of Utah State, these e-learning resources were developed. And these resources are an additional piece to remote learning, but can be used for that in-person experience as well. This is really helpful for the teacher that wants to have the students kind of be self-led, self-directed through the program, or even if students need a recap or a parent is trying to help along. This is a worksheet that's a PDF or Google form version that goes along with each lesson, as well as a video of the lesson being presented itself. So it's as if a student was in the classroom listening to a teacher present. They can see and hear that through our YouTube channel with National Agriculture in the Classroom. So those have been really well received and well utilized. So definitely check those out as a resource for yourself as an educator or a parent, program partner, or for your students to have in hand.
Great. So let's talk about those program updates that are launching over the next few weeks. For all these changes coming very soon, keep an eye out for the updates on social media under our new news section or for updates from your local coordinators. So the first one that is coming soon is called Deep Dives. Deep Dives are a new enrichment activity or lesson that will be available for teachers and students to gain a deeper understanding of key program concepts and or hot topics within the ag industry. Many of these deep dives actually came directly from our teacher feedback survey last year regarding what topics teachers and students wanted to learn more about. So the new topics will include food waste, ag economics, animals and agriculture, soil health, water use, urban agriculture, natural disasters and sustainability, and the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. These will be housed with the program curriculum as an enriching activity, which I've highlighted here for you on the screen under level 3. And they will be available with the program curriculum when the website changes go live in the next few weeks. The next update is teacher reports. So until now, reports have been generated for every section of the game. So after the entire farm simulation levels 1 through 4, after the level 5 games, and after level 6 careers. So coming soon this fall, reports will be generated after each level of the game is played. This will make it easier for teachers who split the lessons up over a period of time, want to pick and choose which lessons to play, or are remotely engaging with their students. To access the reports on the website, students will need to enter your teacher code, which will be highlighted at the top of the page once you log in. And as a reminder, reports generate each night at midnight. So if your classroom plays on a Tuesday, your reports will be available on Wednesday. And reports are identified by the student name that the student enters before they start playing the game. We're excited to launch French resources for our online program as well. We've translated all of the program curriculum, videos, and student activities currently into Canadian French. Some external enriching activities and the Journey 2050 game itself are not currently available in French. Teachers wishing to access French resources will do so by toggling to French when they log in under the online program. These resources will also be available when the remaining website changes go live in the next few weeks. The next phase is to translate the game into Canadian French over this next school year, and then after that into more languages like Latin American Spanish. And then the eligibility for our charitable gift cards, which are also known as Benevity gift cards or coupons, will be changing for 2021-2022. We now ask that teachers complete the follow-up survey. This will either be emailed to you by your program contact, or it's also available under the Get Involved section on the Journey 2050 website. Completing the survey will enter teachers into a biannual draw for a $100 donation credit. So the draws will take place on approximately November 1st and April 1st of each year. 10 winning teachers from each program option, so 30 teachers in total, will be selected on each draw date. Teachers must include their name and email on the survey to be eligible for the draw, and all winning teachers will be notified by the program coordinator. So the purpose of this charitable gift card is that it allows you to donate the gift card amount to any registered nonprofit that you would like. Recipients receive the gift card via email and can redeem the gift card through what's called the Community Impact Portal by searching for and selecting the nonprofit that they're most passionate about. Of course, we recommend working with your class to choose a nonprofit organization contributing to world food sustainability as a real-world application and extension of the Journey 2050 program. And what's coming soon? So after all of these next few week changes are implemented, we are working on even more program development. We have a lot of exciting stuff in the works for Journey 2050, and we're hoping to launch these later this school year. So first, we're working on a USA Farm option right now for our online and our guest speaker experience options. So what this will mean is that students will farm in Kenya, India, and then choose whether they want to farm in Canada or the United States as their final country in the game. We're also updating our career avatar to be even more inclusive by eliminating gender, adding more body types, skin tones, features, and even clothing options for students to choose from in order to better represent themselves. And then finally, the game translation, which I touched on earlier, once these other changes have been completed.
Okay, so speaking of game, we know that students love Journey 2050's game component of the program. It's definitely one of the highlights we've heard, but it wasn't intended to be used really beyond the classroom because it is limited in levels, has timers on it, and is limited in commodities and crops and so on. So Farmers 2050 was developed as a solution to have a way to continue that learning, an extended learning option that was still realistic farming, educational, but fun. So Farmers 2050 is a great way to have a fun homework assignment, maybe a bell ringer activity if you're looking for something different this year, or even to take a farming break during class. So let's see, go to the next slide and I'll share a little bit more about what that looks like. So Farmers 2050 is a free video game, free realistic farming video game that you can download and play through the App Store or Google Play. It's free. There's no ads or in-app fees. There's no timer. You're farming one farm versus traveling to multiple farms in the journey game. We're looking at kind of your typical US Midwest farm, a variety of different crops. You can raise animals, you can craft and sell goods, you work with local farmers around the globe. You really get to understand that farm to table experience, what it takes, what it means, how our food gets from the farm to our plates. There's a great thing that pops up in the game called global events, which are sometimes real life events or fictional. And those are centered around the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals, as well as highlighting key things happening in the world in the sustainable agricultural world, if you will. So those are a neat way to have teams to compete, whether they're in your class or across the school or just globally. You can compete in those events and sometimes a real life donation will occur. So definitely download and play, and we love to see how high your score gets. And the key point there again is to focus on your different levels of your sustainability. So again, that sustainability barrel and concept translates to the score of this game.
This program is brought to you by community partners around the world, and Journey 2050 would simply not exist or be possible without all of the amazing program partners who come together to build, continuously improve, and truly bring this program to life and to schools around the globe. So thank you to all of our program partners for all that you do.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maya Ingraham, and as I mentioned in the chat, I am the Community Relations and Investment Summer Student for Nutrien this summer, and I will be returning back to university in the fall to complete my Bachelor of Communications degree. So we have some door prizes here, and we want to thank all of you who attended and joined today's session. I have drawn the prizes for today, the winners for the prizes, and the winners will receive a Benevity gift card, the same gift cards that Chloe discussed earlier on in the presentation. They will be worth $100 and will be able to be donated to a charity of your choosing. So why don't we see who won? Okay. So I have it on a little piece of paper here, and these were all picked by random name generators, so it's all legit. So for registering, we have Jennifer Gribbins. For, sorry, one second. For attending virtually, we have Pat Ton. And for commenting and engaging, we have Melissa James. So congratulations, and we will reach out to you and get you that gift card so that you can donate to a charity of your cause. So now we will go over the questions that are in the chat. If you have any additional questions, please throw them in here while we go through them, and Chloe or Tessa will answer them. But of course, if you can't think of any right now and they come to you later, feel free to reach out and we will definitely help you. So the first question I have is from Melissa. And I think I'll direct this one to you, Chloe, but of course, Tessa, hop on in if you would like. So the question is, just to clarify, do you go through a lesson plan and then have them play one level of the game, repeating with each level, or do you go through all the lessons and then let them play the game?
That's a great question. Thank you, Melissa, for asking. Yes, so how it is meant to go through is you would go through the lesson plan first and then have them play one level of the game, repeating with each level, instead of going through all of the lesson plans and then just having them play all lessons of the game. So it's very structured in that it is a lesson plan is delivered to kind of give those key concepts, and then they go through and they play the game to essentially apply those concepts that they would have learned through the lesson that you delivered.
Perfect. And then the next question we have is, what is the lowest age in which the curriculum and game are effective? What are minimal skills that are needed by students? So Tessa, do you want to speak to this one, or Chloe, whoever?
Whichever up. Melissa, I don't know if you're in the US or Canada or maybe abroad, because we do have some other attendees, I think, registered from across the globe. So awesome. You're all appreciated today. But here in the US, in our National Agriculture in the Classroom curriculum matrix, we do have it specified to grade level 6 to be met with educational standards. The program itself is targeted for grades 7 through 12. But we do know that some teachers, even as low as in the 3rd grade here in the US, have taken portions of the program and utilized it. So I really would just suggest that you take a look at the curriculum. And I think it kind of differs in skill level of the students, but again, it's really structured for those grades 7 through 12 globally. Anything to add, Chloe?
Yeah, I think it would be similar for here in Canada. I think I've seen as low as grade 5 participate, but I would encourage you, Melissa, if there is a local Ag in the Classroom contact, to reach out to them, and they can really discuss with you local curriculum and what they've seen in their local region as well.
Yeah, Melissa, do you want to drop in either Q&A or the chat what state, or are you in the US or Canada, or where are you located, just so we know?
While we wait for Melissa to say where she is from, we have another question in the chat. And Chloe, you can probably speak to this one. What are the system requirements for Chromebooks?
Well, that really depends. It depends on how you're interacting with the game, I would say. So system requirements, your Chromebook should be fine, regardless, just making sure that they're up to date. If you are using your web browser, just make sure it's the most up to date. So it'd be Google Chrome, and you can play online. If for whatever reason at your school you don't have access to stable internet connection, which would be kind of the other piece of what you need, you can actually download what's called the zip file or the game through your IT, if you have like a district that implements, or just yourself if you're able to do that. And you can actually download the game onto the devices, similar to what I did for the demo. It'll just play directly from the desktop. So there's a few options, but in terms of system requirements, just having the correct device like a Chromebook, you should be more than fine.
Perfect. And Melissa lives in Iowa, and she says she has a number of special needs kids and wants to make sure they can utilize this program.
Wonderful. So Melissa, I have had educators that teach special needs tell me they utilize it in their classroom. I know they usually run through the game levels, I think, a couple times, which is an excellent way to utilize the game. You don't have to play it just once. Iowa is one of our, what we are kind of calling an expansion state here in the US, to where we do have resources locally within your state. So I'm going to pop in the chat right now the website for your local Iowa Agriculture in the Classroom organization, which there is Iowa Agriculture Literacy Foundation. And so you have access to guest speaker experiences in Iowa. I know they host workshops on Journey 2050. So I definitely encourage you to reach out if you need help with that connection. I can assist with that, but the executive director and his team are well-versed in Journey 2050 and could help you along in the process. So awesome.
Okay, and we have another question here for Chloe. Chloe, can you touch on how the program is being promoted at teacher conventions within Alberta, as they're all virtual this year with the ATA? I think if you took this presentation and ran it for the session, it could reach a lot of teachers, and it can be done all virtually and get a lot of positive uptakes.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Tara. Really how we've done the teacher conferences in the past is through the Calgary Stampede, through Alberta Canola, or through Ag for Life, which is our program partners in Alberta. I typically don't do the presentations myself, but I am more than happy to share this presentation or have a brainstorming session with you on how we could better deliver sessions for those ATA conventions. And then we can talk about what would work best and how we can best implement those. So happy to have an offline conversation about that one, but thank you very much for the question.
Perfect. And I think this is the last one that we have here, and it's just from Eva asking if we will be sending out the recording of this session. And yes, we will, and you're more than welcome to share it with other people and partners at a later date. So we're reaching the end of our time here, but we thank you for all of your questions and for participating. If you do have those additional questions, please reach out, and we will get that recording sent out to you shortly. We can encourage you to continue exploring Journey 2050. You can stay up to date with us on Facebook, but if you have those questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, thank you for coming and incorporating agriculture into your classroom. Have a great day, everyone.